والآن أدعو جلالة الملك حمد بن عيسى الخليفة ملك مملكة البحرين لإلقاء كلمته، فليتفضل.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الأخ العزيز خادم الحرمين الشريفين الملك سلمان بن عبد العزيز آل سعود رئيس القمة العربية، أخي
Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, my brother,
الأمير محمد بن سلمان
Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi Crown Prince, the Saudi Prime Minister, all the majesties, the Arab kings and president, peace be upon you all. We are here hosted by our brother, the Saudi king, to renew our commitment and to continue our joint Arab action. It is our free will and insistence and our solidarity to instill stability which all our peoples should enjoy, and our way to achieve this, it's the comprehensive peace approach. There is no alternative for this peace approach to deal all the issues, to guarantee prosperity and security and the vital interest, to guarantee prosperity for all the peoples and nations without any discrimination. And also we welcome all the serious Arab initiatives to have this comprehensive vision, renewed vision, to resume our diplomatic relations between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Islamic Republic of Iran, and to continue with the humanitarian truce in Yemen, and to continue efforts to solve its crisis, and the good return of Syria to the Arab nation. And also we should here emphasize the importance of putting an end to the conflict in Sudan and to achieve its security and stability, and also to guarantee its legal rights, also the rights of Egypt in the Nile water, and to continue with the peaceful path to reach a peaceful, a just solution for the Palestinian cause, including, according to the two-state solution, according to Arab initiative, to guarantee the legal rights of the Palestinian people to have their independent Palestinian state with its capital Jerusalem or Al-Quds. To our brothers, our Arab nation with all its values, religious values, civilizations, and all what it enjoys of human resources, and a strategic geographic location, natural diversity of natural resources. It's really capable of going forward and coping with the current changes via Arab integration, and to renew its partnerships, strategic partnerships with our allies and our friends, based on preserving the mutual interests, and also with a vision which enjoys activating our efforts to combat terrorism and mass destruction weapons, to reach stabilized region, enjoying more close civilizations. And here we should express our wishes to have all our efforts succeeding in stabilizing the situation between Russia and Ukraine, and to restore peace between their peoples and also the neighboring states, and to regain, and to the world to regain its prosperity and welfare, which was exhausted by war. Also, we do hope to succeed for all the UN partners regarding climate change, COP28, which is going to be hosted by the United Arab Emirates
في نهاية العام الجاري
by the end of the year, God willing.
وأننا إذ نشكر كل من أخينا
We
خادم الحرمين
also would
الشريفين
like to thank our
وصاحب
brother,
السمو الملكي
Saudi
الأمير
King,
محمد بن سلمان بن عبد العزيز
and
آل
the
سعود
Saudi Crown Prince,
ولي العهد رئيس مجلس الوزراء
the Saudi
على
Prime
هذه الدعوة
Minister,
الكريمة
for this kind
وعلى
invitation,
حسن الضيافة
and
وكرم
also with
الوفاء.
the warm reception and
نتوجه لهما بعظيم
hospitality.
التقدير
We would
على ما تبذله
appreciate and
المملكة
laud all
العربية
the efforts
السعودية
exerted by the
من
Saudi
جهود
Kingdom
دبلوماسية
regarding
فائقة
their
الأهمية
diplomatic, very important,
ومبادرات
vital
إنسانية
diplomatic
عظيمة
efforts,
التأثير
humanitarian initiatives,
والأثر لعودة
which
أمن واستقرار
have their
دول
positive
المنطقة
impact to realize peace
وحفظ
and security
سيادتها
to
ووحدة
the
مواقفها.
regional states and their
ولا
sovereignty and
يفوتنا
unity.
كذلك
Also,
أن نتقدم بالشكر الجزيل
we really
إلى فخامة
thank
الرئيس عبد المجيد تبون
Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune for his share to boost the joint Arab action when Algeria was presiding
أعمال القمة
over
الحادية والثلاثين
the
وأن نعرض عن خالص
31st
الامتنان لمعالي
Arab
الأمين
Summit,
العام
also to
جامعة الدول العربية
the General Secretary
وجميع
of the Arab
منتسبي
League,
الأمانة العامة
also all
على
who are
حسن الإعداد
affiliated to the
والتحضير
Secretariat with
لأعمال
the
هذا الاجتماع
good preparation for this
سائلين المولى
meeting,
عز
asking
وجل
God Almighty
أن تشهد أعمال هذه القمة المباركة
to bless the activities and efforts of this summit to realize all our goals,
تعود بالمنعة والرفعة
which
لدولنا
are
وشعوبها.
going to have their positive impacts on our peoples and nation. Also, we'd like
في
to,
ختام حديثنا
by the end of our
أن
speech,
ترحيبنا بكم
with welcoming all of you in
مملكة البحرين
your country in
اجتماعات القمة
Bahrain
العربية المقبلة
to witness the activities of the coming Arab Summit in 2024.
والسلام عليكم
Peace be
ورحمة
upon you
الله
all.
وبركاته.
أشكر جلالة الملك حمد بن عيسى الخليفة على كلمته.
We thank the King of Bahrain, and now we invite Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to have his speech to address the gathering. In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, my brother Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Your Majesties, the Arab Presidents and Kings, the General Secretary of the Arab League, ladies and gentlemen, peace be upon you all. I'd like first to express my appreciations and salute to King Salman bin Abdulaziz, the King of Saudi Arabia, and to my brother Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi Crown Prince, to host this Arab Summit, which we trust, would have confidence and trust that it's going to face all the current regional and world challenges facing our nation, and to change it into chances to boost security and stability in our region, and to realize the aspirations and ambitions of our peoples. And in this occasion, we'd like to laud what was achieved by the kingdom under your leadership on all levels in the road of prosperity and welfare. And also, I'd like to thank and appreciate the efforts of Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune for his very successful presidency of the last summit. And in this occasion, I'd like also to appreciate and salute all our brothers, the leaders of the Arab nation, for their constant situations toward our just case. Also, we welcome President Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian president, as a very dear brother among his brothers and among his family members. Also, in a very historical resolution by the UN just a few days ago in New York, the UN renewed Al-Nakba occasion, which the Palestinian people are still under its very negative impact, when the Zionists and the Israeli forces committed more than 51 massacres, documented and also demolished more than 530 Palestinian villages. And all these catastrophes are documented. This very important historical UN resolution, it's narrating the Zionist and which claimed in a very false way the relations between the Palestinian people and what the Israeli forces committed. Here, ladies and gentlemen, we stress the refusal and rejection to the Israeli occupation, and we call on the international community to put Israel accountable for its crimes and all its violations of the international law, and to have protection available for our people. Also, we are going to continue with our struggle to face the Israeli aggression. Also, we are going to resume our diplomatic and legal efforts in all the international issues and international courts to regain our rights, in top of which the Hague or the ICC, in addition to continuing our path to obtain or to have our full membership in the United Nations. And here we ask all of you to stand beside us to implement the last resolution of the General Assembly, and also to introduce what you have introduced to the Hague or the ICC, in hope to have this consultative vision from the court around the legality which was implemented by Israel, the state of occupation and apartheid on the Palestinian land. And in this regard, we express our readiness to work with this Arab summit under the leadership of the Saudi Kingdom to make all of the Arab efforts a successful story in the frame of partnership and cooperation, and to find solutions for all the regional crises, to realize peace, prosperity, and welfare to our peoples. And finally, I would like once again to thank and appreciate all the Arab world leaders for all their political constant stances to support the Palestinian people, and also on all levels. And we express our confidence that this effort and this support are going, these efforts and supports are going to continue on the ground, and to resume building our state institutions. And finally, last but not least, we say to our Palestinian people, we are proud of you all, whether on our lands, on our territories, or abroad. And we are going to resume efforts to achieve unity and to have this reconciliation based on the PLO and the international legality. Peace be upon you. We thank Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and to the Mauritanian President. In the name of God, peace be upon Prophet Muhammad. My brother, Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman Abdulaziz Al Saud, the Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and to the Majesties, the Arab world kingdoms and presidents. Ladies and gentlemen, peace be upon you all. First, I'd like to thank Saudi King Salman bin Abdul Aziz and his Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, and also to the Saudi people in general, to host the 32nd round of the Arab Summit, and also for the warm hospitality and warm reception since we landed on this land. And also I'd like to congratulate him on receiving the presidency of the Arab League with the pioneering role shouldered by Crown Prince to serve the Arab nation. Also I'd like to thank Algerian President Abdel Majid Tebboune for his share in pushing the joint Arab action forward during his presidency to the last round. And here I would like also to mention all the serious efforts exerted by Ahmed Abul Ghait, the Arab League General Secretary, along with his team to develop the Arab League. To the kings and presidents of the Arab nation, ladies and gentlemen, among all the world crises, the geostrategic changes, it's urging us to pass all the differences and to boost our joint Arab action. Whenever we boost our joint Arab action, we are going to be able to stand in front of all changes and challenges to realize all our aspirations and the development we aspire. It's the joint Arab action which boosts our existence on the international arena, whether politically, economically, or environmentally. And in this regard, we'd like to renew our our support through the efforts to the Saudi Kingdom, and to congratulate our brothers in the United Arab Emirates for hosting COP28 later this year. The presidents and kingdom and kings of the Arab Whenever I look to the Palestinian situation and also the struggles and disputes in the Arab world, in Mauritania, we condemn the Israeli aggressions on the Palestinians, and we stick to the Palestinian rights to have their own independent state with Al-Quds as its capital, and to abide by the Arab Peace Initiative, and to stick to the unity and sovereignty in Libya and Yemen, with our hope to have an end to the crises there. Also, we boost and support the efforts to stop the violence and fighting in Sudan, and to create a suitable environment to introduce humanitarian aid to all who deserve. And also, I'd like to hail the Arab efforts exerted in this regard under the patronage of the Saudi Kingdom to have this dialogue among warring parties of Sudan, also to this agreement to pave the way for a truce and an end to fighting. And also I'd like to laud the readmission of Syria once again and its return to the Arab League to have its pivotal and vital role to boost the joint Arab action, and also to welcome my brother Syrian President Bashar al-Assad among his brothers. To the kings and presidents of the Arab nation, ladies and gentlemen, the joint Arab action is not going to be strengthened except with economic partnerships among all the Arab states, and to exchange economic cooperation among all of us to have the joint Arab market. And from this regard, we'd like to to express our in Nouakchott to have the 5th Arab Summit, which we aspire that it's going to be a turning point in the joint Arab action. And we hope that the activities and efforts of the 32nd round of the Arab Summit, more success and prosperity. I'd like to express to all of you that we are going to be that happy to receive you in Nouakchott, in the Mauritanian capital. Thank you very much, and peace be upon you all. We thank Mauritanian President Mohammed Ould Sheikh for his speech, and we are welcoming now Tunisian President Qais bin Said to address the gathering. In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, thank God Almighty. Peace be upon Prophet Muhammad, his companions and family. The kings and presidents of the Arab world, General Secretary of the Arab League, Ahmed Abul Ghait. First, I'd like to, in this very brief speech, to congratulate my brother, Saudi King Salman bin Abdul Aziz, the custodian of the two holy shrines, and to Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, the Crown Prince and the Saudi Prime Minister, asking God Almighty to bless our activities and efforts to achieve unity among all of us. It's such an occasion here in this gathering to extend our thanks to my brother, President Abdel Majid Tebboune, President of the Democratic Republic of Algeria. During his presidency, with the high spirit he enjoyed, the high spirit of responsibility to achieve unity during the presidency of the last session of the Arab Summit. Also, I'd like to thank Ahmed Abul Ghait, the General Secretary of the Arab League, and his team for efforts exerted continuously to boost ties and relations among all Arab states and between our states and international organizations. The whole world is being reformed after it was reformed by the end of the 19th century, and our Arab people nationwide paid such a dear price to achieve freedom and independence. And still, our brothers in Palestine, every day they are presenting the martyrs and injured to get rid of the Israeli occupation, in addition to thousands and thousands of refugees who are still living in shelters and camps. It's time for humanity to put an end to this crisis which is taking place in the Palestinian territories, in this silence which prevails by the international community in this world. which is facing reformation, it should be renewed according to the faith of our nation, but we should be partners on equal foot with those who want to reform the world. If the globalization which appeared in the early 1990s, if this globalization reached its utmost level and get upside down, we rejected to be once again the victims of this new global or international system in which we do not participate in putting its rules. Tunisian situation is still as is, having its choice not to be involved into any coalition against another. According to its constitution, and its people is still insisting on achieving equality among all peoples according to international constitutions and charters. All the challenges which we do face are very huge, and there is no doubt that we share the very same will to alleviate it and to pass over it. And the first of these challenges is to preserve our states, because there are sides who want to make it fall, to have chaos prevailing and to live in internal conflicts. We thank God for the return of Syria, its return to the Arab League after containing this conspiracy to divide us. But the Arab people paid this very dear price to have Syria as an independent one state. It's our same will and determination to have Libya as an independent state and to let the Libyan people determine its future by its own. And with the very same will and determination, we are going to help the Yemeni people to regain their happiness and to put an end to all divisions. Also, we still have hope to stop the bloodshed in Sudan, which was divided into two. We would not like to have a third or a fourth Sudan. The second challenge we have, which is not the least, even it's becoming the second position, to maintain civil peace. Peace is not going to be achieved except by comprehensive economic solutions coming from the people, determination and will. Without social justice, this is not going to be realized on the ground. And here I speak about political stability. This is not going to have its impact on our nations, but also on all states. And also among the challenges we have, of course, there's no time to mention them all. The cultural change and challenge. Without culture and education, and without all the tolerance rules to prevail, to have the sense of belonging to our nation, we will not be able to protect our societies from all those who want to make them all fall and to divide our nation. Also, we do have the potentials together which are very much enough to realize all of this, but having the will to realize it on the ground as quickly as possible, far from any international pressure. We are calling for peace and security. We are calling for freedom and justice for our nation and for humanity at large. We do not want to have all these crises or catastrophes repeated again as it took place before, as history Thank you very much. Peace be upon you all. I thank Tunisian President Qais bin Said and like now to ask President Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian president, to address the gathering. Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman, to all the kings and presidents of the Arab states, ladies and gentlemen, how I am going to start my speech. We start with hope, which is the way to achieve. And whenever we have a lot the diseases, the doctors can heal it or treat it, but healing the cause first. Here we should look for the big headlines, not only to manage the results, not the reasons or causes. The challenges, they are having opportunities, chances, and challenges in the same time. With the Western rules prevailing, it's now a historical opportunity to rearrange our circumstances without external intervention. Would like to invest in the positive atmosphere reaching the summit of today. It's an opportunity to instill our culture in the coming period with the liberalization which is determined to have its negative impacts
بهدف جعلها في حالة صراع مع المكونات الطبيعية القومية والعرقية والدينية فتموت معها مجتمعاتنا بصراعها مع ذاتها لا مع غيرها. العناوين كثيرة لا تتسع لها كلمات ولا تكفيها قمم. لا تبدأ عند جرائم الكيان الصهيوني المنبوذ عربيا بحق الشعب الفلسطيني المقاوم، ولا تنتهي عند خطر الفكر العثماني التوسعي المطعم بنكهة إخوانية منحرفة، ولا تنفصل عن تحدي التنمية كأولوية قصوى لمجتمعاتنا النامية. هنا يأتي دور جامعة الدول العربية.
Here comes the role of the Arab League as it is the natural panel to discuss all the cases under the condition of developing its action with restructuring its restructure and to cope with the time. The joint Arab action needs a lot of visions and joint goals to reach practical plans according to clear mechanisms. Only then we are going to not to react but to have our actions far from the aggression regarding the cases and issues regarding Libya, Sudan and Yemen in different places. We cannot manage or treat the diseases only with symptoms. All these cases are the results of bigger headlines which were not treated before. But to speak about all of them, we should have all these cracks which unfortunately had the Arab nation, but to regain the role of the Arab League, it's very important. And now to let the peoples manage their internal risks and crises. All what we need is to prevent the external forces from interfering into our local and internal affairs. Regarding Syria, it's past, present and the future. It's the sense of belonging to the Arab nation. It's not about the hugs, but the sense of belonging is eternal, and we cannot move from this hug to the other. We do not change our sense of belonging, our loyalty. The one who changes his loyalty do not have sense of loyalty at all. Syria is in the heart of the Arab nation. Ladies and gentlemen, as we hold this summit in this very chaotic world, this is to come closer as Arabs, which was crowned by this summit, and we hope that it's going to form another period and another phase to achieve stability and coordination among all of us, to achieve security, prosperity and welfare instead of destruction and war, and to have this sense of commitment, of course, to the 5-minute summit. I'd like to thank all the delegations with the warm reception to the Syrian people, and like to thank the custodian of the two shrines for his very important role and his intensified efforts exerted to boost the reconciliation in our region and to make this summit a story of success. And like to express my salute to him, to the Crown Prince, and for the Saudi people, more prosperity and welfare. Peace be upon you all. Would like to thank Syrian President Bashar al-Assad for his speech, and I'd like to ask Djibouti President to address the gathering. In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, thank God Almighty, and peace be upon Prophet Muhammad and on his companions and family. My brother, the custodian of the Holy Shrine, Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince Muhammad bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to all the kings and presidents of the Arab nation, General Secretary of the Arab League Ahmed Abul Ghait, ladies and gentlemen, peace be upon you all. I'd like to express my happiness that we are here gathered in Jeddah, in this Red Sea coastal city of Saudi Arabia. I'd like first to extend my thanks and appreciation to the Saudi King for its king and peoples, with its warm reception and hospitality, and also the perfect preparation for the summit. And also I'd like to thank deeply Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune on all his efforts. Very much appreciate efforts during his presidency to the last summit. And also I'd like to extend my thanks to General Secretary of the Arab League Ahmed Abul Ghait and his team for all their efforts to serve the joint Arab action. Also, kings and presidents of the Arab states, our council is committed in this very critical moment, and all the complicated challenges resulted from the escalating crises in the Arab nation and regional changes. Also, there is no way to face all these challenges except through a unified, solid Arab action based on new mechanisms to make us realize the aspirations of the Arab peoples to reach unity and integrated way to find solutions, to find practical solutions to the struggles, as all our innocent people are paying the dear price of them. Our strength comes from our unity, and to boost the cases we have, and on top of which is the Palestinian cause, which is going through very bitter circumstances under the Israeli aggression against the innocent Palestinian people. And in this regard, we ask the international community to put Israel accountable for all its deeds and to stop the humanitarian crimes against the Palestinian people, and to put forward our Arab action to establish an independent Palestinian state on the borders of the 4th of June 1967 with Al-Quds as its capital, according to the international legal resolutions. According to the Arab Peaceful Initiative regarding Syria, we welcome the readmission and the return of this dear country to the Arab League, considering it as a very important step to boost the joint Arab action. And also we appreciate the intensified Arab efforts exerted in this regard to support Syria to come out of its crisis and to put an end to the Syrian sufferings which lasted in the past years. Also, regarding Yemen, we renew our stance that we stand beside the Yemeni people and its legal presidency. Also, we express our optimism to find peace prevailing in this region between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and also the Islamic Republic of Iran, which revived hopes to put an end to tension in Yemen and to boost stability and security, regional stability and security there. And we hail in this regard the efforts exerted by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to revive the political process and to reach a political solution, to reach a comprehensive peace under the patronage of the United Nations. And regarding the developments in Sudan, we stress our keenness to see Sudan enjoying prosperity, stability and security, and we welcome all the regional and international efforts to put an end to the conflict there and to pave the way for having a comprehensive political dialogue. We also hail the talks which took place in Jeddah among the Sudanese army and the rapid support forces under the patronage of the Saudi Kingdom and the United States. And as a member, and according to being a member of the Mediation Committee, Djibouti is going to continue its efforts to coordinate stances with the other states involved into this mediation process and with the Arab states in this regard, stressing the importance of unifying our efforts to put an end as soon as possible. Regarding Libya, we do express our continuous support to end the Libyan crisis, to reach a Libyan settlement, to realize national reconciliation, and to organize, to organize and to hold elections as soon as possible, to keep the sovereignty and unity of the Libyan territories, and to meet the aspirations of the Libyan people to realize peace and prosperity. Also, regarding the developments in Somalia, we hail the stability, political stability which is prevailing there, practiced there, and also we hail the efforts exerted by Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud's government to improve the economic and social circumstances there, and also we stress that Somalia is still in need for the support of its brothers and to participate with them in realizing the aspirations of its people. To the kings and presidents of the Arab nation, in this very critical, difficult phase of our modern history, we need to have a serious turning point to look at the destination of this nation and to try to prevent more escalation, to protect it from all dangers, and to continue with defending the rights of our peoples to realize their aspirations. We are here to express our hope that under the presidency of the Saudi Kingdom to lead the joint Arab action with its pivotal role and pioneering role and its keenness to achieve unity. And finally, I'd like to thank once again the Saudi Kingdom, government and people for the warm hospitality and the good preparation for this summit, asking God Almighty that this summit is going to turn into a story of success and to help us all to achieve prosperity and welfare. Peace be upon you all. We thank President Omar, President of Djibouti. Now we ask the Somali President to come and to address the gathering.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير محمد بن سلمان بن عبد العزيز ولي العهد رئيس المجلس الوزراء مملكة العربية السعودية الشقيقة، رئيس الدورة 32 لمجلس الجامعة العربية على مستوى القمة، أصحاب الجلالة والفخامة والسمو ملوك ورؤساء الدول العربية، معالي السيد أحمد أبو الغيث أمين العام لجامعة الدول العربية، أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، رؤساء الوفود المشاركة، الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. وبعد، أيها الإخوة الأعزاء، يشرفني أن أتقدم بخالص الشكر والتقدير للمملكة العربية السعودية الشقيقة ملكا وحكومة وشعبا على كرم الضيافة وحسن الاستقبال منذ وصولنا إلى بلد الحرمين الشريفين. ويسعدني أن أعبر عن خالص الشكر والتقدير لأخي فخامة الرئيس عبد المجيد تبون رئيس جمهورية الجزائرية الديمقراطية الشعبية الشقيقة، رئيس الدورة السابقة لمجلس الجامعة العربية على مستوى القمة، نثمن ما بذله من جهود كبير ساهمت في تسيير اجتماعاتنا ومتابعة قضايانا العربية. كما أوجه التهنئة الحارة على صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير محمد بن سلمان بن عبد العزيز ولي العهد رئيس المجلس الوزراء المملكة العربية السعودية الشقيقة، رئيس الدورة 32 لمجلس الجامعة العربية على مستوى القمة، متمنيا لقيادة النجاح والتوفيق في هذه الدورة التي نتمنى أن تحقق أهدافنا المنشودة وتعالج قضايانا فيما يعزز عملنا العربي المشترك. أصحاب الجلالة والفخامة والسمو، يطيب لي أن أعرب عن سعادتي وسعادة الشعب الصومال
my happiness and I'd like to express my happiness with the return of the Syrian Republic to the Arab League and to have its share in dealing with all Arab cases. Regarding Sudan, we all realize that the latest conflict there between the warring sides is very painful and it's a source of sorrow and sadness. We should put an end to all of these conflicts and struggles and to meet the aspirations of the Sudani people to achieve security and stability. We all appreciate the exerted efforts to reach this goal, whether from the regional or international or Arab sides. We also would like to mention the Saudi efforts in collaboration with the United States to have this dialogue among the warring sides and to reach a truce. We hope that our Sudanese brothers are going to succeed to reach a comprehensive peace deal and to end this conflict and struggle. To the kings and Your Majesty's kings and presidents of the Arab nation in Somalia, since we assumed the presidency a year ago, we made a plan based on 3 elements to meet all the challenges which are facing Somalia in the past few decades, to get rid of Al-Shabaab and to have foreign forces to help our local forces. Also, we are facing the accumulated debts which acted as an obstacle in front of development. In the very first year since we assumed the presidency, facing or fighting terrorism, we liberalized more than 80 cities in Somalia by half of the year, and also to secure Mogadishu, the capital. Also, our forces and our armed forces are launching around the clock war against terrorism. We want to have Somalia free of the terrorist group of Al-Shabaab. Also, the withdrawal of the EU forces. It's going to have its end, or the deadline is going to be achieved or met on December this year. The Somali forces are going to shoulder this responsibility even before this deadline. Third, also, the accumulated debts. We had an agreement with international organizations to cancel all these debts, and we're going to implement all these conditions to reach this goal by the end of this year. To the kings, Your Majesty, the kings and presidents of the Arab nation, we renew our will to serve our nations, to serve the Arab stances and Arab causes. We are going to be also all the time involved in partnership with our brothers to achieve all what's good for our nation. We ask God Almighty to support us to overcome all the crises witnessed by the Arab nation, and also to boost our security and stability and to realize all the aspirations of the Arab peoples. Also, last but not least, I'd like to renew my thanks to the President of the session and to the General Secretary of the Arab League, Ahmed Abul Ghait, and to all the gathering in this very important summit. May God bless you all. Peace be upon you all. I would like to thank the Somali President for his speech, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. And now we ask the Kuwaiti Crown Prince to come and to address the gathering. In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, we thank God Almighty, and peace be upon our Prophet Muhammad, along with his family and companions. Your Majesty, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister, Your Majesty, the Kings and Presidents of the Arab nation, Secretary General of the Arab League Ahmed Abu al-Ghait, ladies and gentlemen, peace be upon you all. Representing Sheikh Nawaf al-Ahmad al-Jabr al-Sabah, Prince of Kuwait, on behalf of His Majesty, I'd like to convey his greetings and best wishes to achieve prosperity and welfare for our nation and to serve its causes. I'd like also to congratulate the Saudi Kingdom for the presidency of this summit in its 32nd round, expressing our confidence that with the experience and wisdom of the kingdom will turn the summit into a story of success, thanking the Saudi Kingdom, leadership, government and people for the warm hospitality and reception and all what we witnessed regarding the good preparation for the summit. I'd like also to thank my brother Abdelmajid Tabboune, the President of Algeria, for all his efforts during his presidency to the last round. And we also would like to appreciate the efforts exerted by General Secretary of the Arab League, Ahmed Abu al-Ghait, and the General Secretariat of the Pan-Arab Body. Ladies and gentlemen, we feel optimistic regarding finding some lights by the end of the tunnel regarding many crises witnessed by the Arab nation. We stress that all these understandings are going to be reflected positively on the stability of the nation and to achieve all the aspirations of its peoples. But our optimism is mixed with worries, with many challenges still faced by our Arab nation, as our summit is coming amid all the rapid developments which are surrounding our nations, reflected undoubtedly on our region, on its stability, also with some conflicts which are still going on globally, as what's going on in Ukraine is still having its repercussions on international peace and stability, something which urges us to put some mechanisms to deal with these developments and challenges. Regarding the Syrian cause, Kuwait is renewing its support to the Arab League Resolution 814 and to welcome the statement which was released after the meeting of Jeddah, and also the statement which was released after Amman, to have Syria returning back to the Arab house and to put an end to the sufferings of the Syrian people. Kuwait is renewing its stance to maintain the sovereignty and stability of Syria and the full rejection of any external intervention into its internal affairs since the start of the events, and to introduce all the humanitarian aid to all the sects in Syria, and to implement all what was released in the Jeddah statement and the UN resolution, with the return of Syria to return back to its pivotal effective role in the Arab nation and also in its regional and international arenas. The Palestinian cause, ladies and gentlemen, is going to remain on top of the challenges facing our nation. We'd like to stress The Kuwaiti stance regarding the Palestinian cause and the rights of the Palestinian people to face the Israeli aggressions, the Israeli occupations, crimes against them and against Al-Quds, and we would like to urge the international community to shoulder its responsibility to revive the peace process to reach a just, comprehensive solution according to international legality, and also the Arab Peace Initiative, and to guarantee the rights of the Palestinian people to have their independent Palestinian state on their lands with Al-Quds as its capital. Finally, in front of the Arab states, we do have a lot of huge responsibilities, urging us to exert more efforts to guarantee a secure and safe future all over the Arab nation. We wish that all the efforts exerted and activities of the summit to achieve success. We thank the Kuwaiti Crown Prince for his speech. Now we ask the Iraqi President Mohammad Shaya al-Sudani to address the gathering. In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, Your Majesty, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister, Your Majesties, General Secretary of the Arab League, Ahmed Abu al-Ghait, ladies and gentlemen, peace be upon you all. First, permit me to express my thanks to the custodian of the two shrines, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, and his Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, and to the Saudi people for hosting and preparing for the summit. Also, our thanks to Algerian President Abdel Majid Tebboune and Algeria for their presidency of the last round of the summit. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my happiness to welcome once again Syria in its normal place, which is a step which we supported from scratch to regain stability in the region. And from our sense of responsibility regarding the Arab nation, we stress the importance of the joint Arab action for the sake of containing our differences. And here, we should not let Sudan going in this deteriorating situation and suffering from internal strife. We welcome all the initiatives which are calling for ending conflict. We hope that all efforts are going to succeed to realize stability in Libya, as we are feeling optimistic regarding the continuation of trying to have peace in Yemen. We renew our stance to support our Lebanese brothers to restore stability and economic stability once again. We also renew our stance regarding the Palestinian rights in its sovereignty and its lands, and to have their independent Palestinian state with Al-Quds as its capital. We also would like to remind the whole world that still the sacred places are violated, something which cannot be accepted by the human conscience. We'd like also to welcome the agreement between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Islamic Republic of Iran, which is a step loaded by Iraq to invest in the good intentions of the two nations, of the two countries, to help the nation enjoy stability and development. Also, to come together as Arabs is not to be isolated. We are still open to our neighbors here, individually or together. I call on the Arab League to develop its approaches regarding having an economic group to boost our economies and to invest in our resources in the best way ever. Many countries, succeeded in building groups, economic groups. At a time they do not have the potentials or even common language, but it's a must now for all of us to achieve economic integration among all of us. And in this regard, we are going to host in Iraq many conferences to put the pillars of this cooperation. Baghdad 2023 is one of them for economic integration and regional stability. Also, Baghdad is getting ready to host the Development Path Conference, the promising project which is going to boost the mutual interest among all our states and peoples. And when we speak about sustainable development, we should stop at the climate change and water scarcity. This file, which requires a lot of joint action to put rules, to find solutions, finding solutions for this challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, our peoples, they are young peoples, and this is a fact which is adding to our responsibilities. Drugs and all other trials requires very decisive stances and situations to cooperate together to fight all these hard circumstances. Regarding your brothers in Iraq, they introduced the utmost sacrifices facing the brutal terrorism, and we achieved victory to realize all the aspirations regarding welfare, prosperity, and development. To the kings and your majesties, kings and presidents of the Arab nation, in 2025, I ask all of you and I invite all of you to join us in Baghdad in the coming summit in 2025. Again, I'd like to end by thanking again the Saudi Kingdom for the warm reception and hospitality, and I'd like to have this summit as another story of success and to realize all the aspirations and best interests of the Arab peoples.